Okay, time now for the Insider's Quick Six. We bring back Professor Tim Hagel. Question one, what is the biggest difference, looking at the Republican side of things, in candidates, in the way they're doing messaging, what they're talking about, the issues they're pushing versus maybe 20 years ago? What stands out?
We're probably getting more of a focus on the base rather than reaching out to the middle. And that's partly because the electorate itself is fairly highly polarized and there are fewer and fewer swing voters than what we used to see in the past.
Question two would be the flip side. Now, maybe it's got the same answer here, but what do you think when you look at Democratic candidates?
Probably the same thing. We've seen the Democratic Party kind of move to the left a fair amount, and so a number of Democrats have moved to the Republican side, and so again there are fewer of those middle voters really that are there, and so that's something that affects the Democrats as well.
Question three, when you're talking to your students, is there a dominant issue this fall that seems to come up a lot as you look at them as voters?
Probably, as is often the case for students, they're looking towards the future, saying, how is this going to affect them? A lot of the times they're really interested in getting their degree, getting a job, starting a career, but they do look forward as well, especially the ones that tend to be politically active, and they want to know that things are going to be good for them as they were for maybe their parents or grandparents.
Question four, you have a couple of books here, but one of them here, Iowa County Voters. You were looking at specifically things that had changed over 20 years. What stands out to you as maybe one of the bigger changes this state has experienced over that period?
One of the things that seems to particularly be of interest is the movement of the parties, that the Democrats tend to be clustered in urban areas, no surprise there particularly, but we have of course seen population moving out of the rural counties, which have then become much more Republican, and whether the population is moving to the urban counties like Polk and so forth, or just moving out of state, it's hard to say, but still it's a matter of where the Republicans tend to be clustered in the rural areas, Democrats in the more populous counties.
Question five, how much of an issue for the country right now would you say when Donald Trump's going out, giving these rallies, pushing his people to not believe the results of 2020? How big of an issue is that for our country looking at this election and the next election?
I don't think it's as big as the amount of attention that it's getting. It's one of those things that Democrats want to push to help, again, energize their base. Republicans, by and large, would like to move on for the most part. Trump gets his base fired up, which is helpful in the sense that it will get them to come out and vote and basically pay more attention to make sure that voting is done properly. But by and large, I think that we'll probably get past that in fairly short order.
Okay, we always end the show with a prediction. What do you have?
Well, I think that on November 9th, the day after Election Day, there are going to be a lot of people that are very happy, a lot of people that are very mad, and serious talk of 2024 will begin in earnest.
Safe bet on that one. Hey, a couple things from our conversations this week that we couldn't quite squeeze into the show. The one with Professor Hagel, who looks very lean these days, by the way. You can tell he's been working out a lot. He talked about, in something you can kind of keep track just watching almost anything these days, those political ads. Keep track of how many times in there they allege somebody is extreme or has an extreme position on a variety of issues, both Democrats and Republicans. That's definitely been a theme this time around, perhaps more so than we've seen in the past. One other thing from Libertarian Rick Stewart, obviously he's upset that he didn't qualify for the Iowa public TV debate, but they're also kind of playing the long game here, hoping that they get enough support so that Libertarians can once again be major party status when it comes to the state of Iowa, so they can get on the ballot easier, realizing that it's an uphill climb to win this time around. But if they get enough people to vote for them, more people learn about libertarians, they're thinking more for the future. Hope you'll stay connected throughout the week, and we'll see you next week for Insiders.